I know. Hello, hello, friends. How is everyone doing this Friday night?
You're just coming back in the room on camera.
Is it going to stay laggy?
There's always a lag.
Oh, okay. I think it's Friday, right? I don't really know what day of the week it is anymore. I have no point of reference for what day of the week it is. What are we all sipping on tonight? I'm just having my second little collagen and greens drink. This is so tasty. This is sauna. I put this on my stories today. Hey, Carrie, Jocelyn, Sarah, Candelita. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your names wrong. I'm so sorry. I'm so familiar with seeing you all either in Discord or chatting with you in DMs. And then when it comes to say names out loud, I'm like, oh, I don't want to screw it up. What's up, Kelsey, Ashley, Amber, Tamisha, Faith, Danielle, Deanna, Kelsey, Amber, Haley. What's up, everyone? 2 lives in a row. I know. So honestly, this was kind of last minute, but I was thinking about it and I had such a huge response. I wasn't anticipating from my last YouTube video regarding me quitting my job. And I got to thinking about it with the amount of comments that was on that video and in my DMs. I thought it would make sense to maybe just do a live to kind of catch up and chit chat. I know I haven't been vlogging a ton, so I thought this could be more of a little personal live. Certainly if you have some burning Buff Bunny questions, you can ask them, but I kind of wanted to save that for tomorrow. That way tomorrow we can just totally hone in and focus on the Dream House collection and going through all that. But yeah, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to do a live. I went live on Instagram. Is that correct that it's like not actually loading? Hello? Maybe not. Maybe no one joined. Anywho's all, we are here. It's Friday night. What do we got? Coconut water, vodka diet. I love that for you. I was going to crack open a little glass of wine, but I just have too much to do, and it would be my luck I'd get shitty over 1 glass of wine or something stupid like that. So I have been filming a little Takeover Tuesday for Buff Bunny Collection today. So you can see I've got some gear behind me trying to organize my Buff Bunny stuff. So if you follow Buff Bunny Collection, you're into organization, make sure you check out the Takeover Tuesday and let them know you enjoyed my bit. So, all right. I had put a little question box up on Instagram as well. For anyone that has questions, I'm assuming maybe most of you who are here actually watched my last video. If not, quick recap. I decided to quit my job of 16 years. I started at the hospital I work at now, literally the Monday after graduation. So I graduated on a Saturday and I started at the hospital on a Monday as a registered dietitian there. Absolutely loved it. When people asked me about my job, I would rave about it. I was so proud. I would brag to my other dietitian friends. I would brag to other people. I would proudly tell people where I worked. Absolutely loved it. Yes, I was young. I was youthful. I had a lot of zest in me and just loved what I did. And management fell into my lap earlier in my career than anticipated. Although I have to say, I always just saw that as the natural progression. And someone messaged me this, and it was so applicable, that as a dietitian and in healthcare, oftentimes your only way to make more money in healthcare, in that system, is to go into management positions. So it's kind of letting go of the clinical aspect of things you do and going into management. So for me, I kind of felt that that was going to be a natural progression for me because I wanted to build that resume. I wanted to be that person to get promoted. And so I took not one opportunity as the nutrition services administrator, which still kept me very clinically vested in everything. I was still very involved in the dietitian's work, what they were doing on top of food service, on top of any policy changes, and what was up and coming for nutrition in the field. So it was still very relevant for me to stay on par with a little bit of what I love. However, yeah, I ended the live on Insta because it made it, real quick, it made it look like no one was in there, so maybe that was incorrect. So I'll restart it in case people are actually in there. But, so anyways, why didn't I stay nutrition services administrator? Sounds great, right? I was miserable. I was managing close to 30 people, all right, food service worker ones, lowest paid grade in New York State, up through professional staff dietitians, fabulous. But I found out very quickly in that position, it got, I don't want to say boring, but it was not challenging. You have so many layers of people underneath you, keeping everything as a very well-oiled machine. So literally, I could have just not been there for 2 months and that place would have kept running fantastic. For me, I just found myself mostly dealing with, in terms of problem solving, management issues. And believe it or not, something I didn't realize about myself, because I've just been reflecting so much this past year about who am I and what do I like to do and what am I good at. For me, I realized I do like solving problems. I am a problem solver, and I, believe it or not, I feel I work well under pressure. And in that job, I did not feel like I was problem solving much. It was just more managing people. It was babysitting. It was managing stupid things, people not wanting to do their job, people doing them incorrectly, people just purposely wanting to be defiant because they didn't agree with the rules and policies that were in place. That's the shit I just don't get as a manager, because I've never been that employee. If I don't agree with something, unless I feel ethically like I can't do this, this is against my ethics, as an employee, underneath everyone's, for the most part, unless you're self-managing, everyone's got someone they're answering to. So at the end of the day, you do your job. You do it, right? Even if you don't agree with it sometimes, if you speak up if it's necessary, but you do your job. I just never understood not doing your job just to be defiant and to think that that's going to somehow elevate you in the world of your career. I just don't understand that, but I dealt with so much of that with managing, and it just got old to me very quick. At this point in my career, I started looking elsewhere. I started looking at other jobs, trying to figure out what was best for me. I looked into a position at the VA, which is a veterans hospital. So I work for a state job, a government job for New York State. However, the VA is a federal job. So I looked into that, very competitive. It was almost comical that peers in my field were like kind of not laughing, but they were just like, yeah, no one gets offered those jobs. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I interviewed 2 or 3 times, knocked their socks off, and immediately was offered the job. The position itself was, at the time, 30 grand more than I was making, all right? I was making about 80 grand as the nutrition services administrator. It's all public information. I'm not being showy or flashy by sharing that information. That's kind of the beauty, in a way, of New York State. Everyone's pay, it's public knowledge. You can look me up if you want. So that job that I was working, 80 grand, this other position for the VA was like starting pay 120,000. The benefits weren't as good. Federal's not as good as state. If anyone's familiar with state versus federal jobs, I'm sure it's similar for states you live in, but it wasn't as good. And I could see the writing on the wall that I was going to be replacing one shit show for another. And the grass is not always greener. I'm well aware of that. I'm also someone who, believe it or not, does not just chase money. I never have, even though I took 2 promotions. I did not take this last promotion for money. I took it for a change. But at this time for the VA, I just knew I wasn't going to be happy. It wasn't worth the extra money in my paycheck to not be happy. And if you can take one thing away from following me or listening to anything I ever tell you, please remember that, especially for those of you who are younger in your career. Don't feel like you have to have it all figured out at this moment. Most of us we never really figure it out. We're just kind of figuring things out as we go. Even the older we get, even when I talk to my parents, we're all just trying to figure it out. No one has it all figured out. All right. So just remember that. And chasing the dollar sign is not probably going to leave you the happiest. I'm not saying don't be financially smart and do things to make that money, honey. But at the end of the day, money does not bring happiness. Definitely brings some comfort, but I wasn't like making $1 million or something here. I'm making normal money in the corporate government type world. So anyways, turned down that job. I said I wanted to stay at the hospital. At that time, my current boss was in need of someone in the business office. So that is when I made that jump, which was a promotion. It was pretty much a decent career shift. I had to relearn a job from scratch, whereas going into management for a nutrition department wasn't that unfamiliar to me. So for me, jumping into a whole new department, understanding New York State finance law. So law being the key word, I am the girl that if I screw up, I went against New York State law, I could then be held financially responsible. I know, not the most interesting job in the world, but it was a pretty important job, important in that I knew what the hell I was doing, because not many other people really care about how you spend state dollars, state taxpayers' dollars. Someone's got to care, and I was that person that had to care. So it took me a bit to learn it, about 2 years, I'd say, till I really figured out everything. And even still, as I left the hospital, was still learning stuff. You're forever learning, right? But I could just tell that I was nearing the end of my career in that job, because it was just so, everything was pissing me off, all right? Like things that shouldn't piss you off, they're just normal things you have to deal with in management. Everything was just annoying me. So if you did watch my YouTube video, I'm trying to not be repetitive here and tell you different things, but essentially I have always kind of been like a whatever kind of gal. I can do a lot of things. I can go a lot of ways. I'm easy to please. I'm easy to entertain. I'm just laid back for the most part is how I would describe myself. So even in the workforce, I think that's why people enjoyed me in management. I am not someone that would ever humiliate people or make them feel dumb or belittle them to puff myself up or have some sense of power. I never felt like that. So pretty easy to work with and just easygoing kind of gal. But as we get older and, COVID shifted the world, I think we can all agree on that, and figuring out Jason's health issues basically around the same time that COVID hit, right? Maybe like the year before or something. It just kind of like changes perspective on a lot of things. So, okay, did I screw that up? That, and I could just see the writing on the wall. We, as a hospital, and most hospitals are similar, continue to be understaffed and just kept getting more and more understaffed. Even in my department, it wasn't just nursing. Nursing's super critical, but also just...
August 2020.
It was August 2020?
Yeah.
I thought so. All right, so it was... Yeah. All right, so August 2020. So, COVID shifted a lot. But yeah, so anyways, life's moving fast, life's changing, life's putting things in perspective, and something I had toyed with for a long time was running my own business, and I have in a way in terms of taking a small clientele, but not a ton, because I couldn't balance it all. And beyond that, YouTube, obviously I do a lot of Buff Bunny collection, but what got me started here was my love for nutrition and fitness. So at the end of the day, truly what I'm passionate about, what I love talking to people about, what I love helping people with, and I think I'm pretty good at, but I haven't been able to really just entirely trust that I could do this on my own. And that's a scary thing. I've always been that person who's worked for someone else and enjoyed it. I've always been well liked, by most people I've worked for. I enjoy being a good employee. But, you know, coming into this last year with my birthday, wanting this to be the best year of my life, I told myself I'm going to do things different this year. I'm going to figure my shit out. I am going to figure out what I'm doing. I'm at a crossroads where I feel like the longer I stay at the hospital, the longer I'm kind of trapped into needing to stay there for reasons such as pension and health insurance, etc. Or I need to get out now while I still can, while I'm still young enough, while it still makes sense, while I still have a bit of a social media following. Who knows if this will always be here? I hope you're always here, but you may not be. So yeah, all these things flying through my brain every single night, just super anxious. Like, how are you going to figure this out? Like, other people figure it out. You know, I've got Jason telling me for like 3 years to quit. He's wanted me to quit forever, which is funny because most people, I would say, what holds them back is probably a partner not being supportive, or you know, you're responsible for other human beings, and finances, you need that stability. With not having kids, but yes, having 2 large Corsos, they do cost money, understand, not the same as humans. And Jason's health issues and stuff like that, you know, certain things did keep me there for a bit. Especially with Jason's health stuff, some of you have reached out and asked about that. Like, am I nervous with leaving, with his Lyme and other stuff? Honestly, for the past year, that is a big thing in my mind that did keep me there. Jason had a lot of upper GI, not to like share all his business, but he's pretty transparent about it. He had a lot of workups for upper GI, stomach stuff, for past year or 2, I want to say, that we were definitely using a lot of the health insurance. But here's the thing, health insurance or not, under New York State insurance, for a family plan for what we have, it's not cheap. It's not like New York's just giving me some fucking present and I should be so grateful. No, the family plan is $270 a paycheck, all right? So therefore, I am paying over $500 a month right now for health. Well, was paying. I'm still on payroll at the moment, but was paying over $500 a month for insurance. So when you look at private insurance, which is an option, we're not going to be uninsured. I've always been very smart when it comes to benefits and thinking about retirement. I don't just throw all those things out the door because I'm leaving New York State. Actually, due to myself being vested in New York State, we have the option to continue under our current health insurance plan. I don't know the cost of that yet, but that is something I'll look at. Dental and vision came from my union, which was okay. Dental and vision is never like stupendous. I think someone wrote, yep, that federal has better offerings for like dental and vision and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I feel like I still pay a shit ton of money out of pocket for both of those things, for a lot of things, insurance or not. So at the end of the day, I told myself, you can't stay at one job because they may have a little bit better insurance, or it might be a little bit cheaper than what you would pay on your own. Because honestly, where I'm at my job, I'm maxed out. I am 7 years in is where you cap out in your pay grade, okay? So raises for me would have been very minimal unless New York State approved us to have raises. And the next step for me would have been going into my boss's role as a director. And he was 8 years from retirement. So a lot of things in my mind. Number one, do I want to do the job I'm doing right now for 8 more years? That's 15 years as the business officer. Absolutely not. Do I want to stick it out, though, for the potential to go to be a director? In my mind, I already passed up that opportunity not once but twice. It came up at the hospital when I was more than qualified for it. Would I have gotten it? I don't know. I didn't go for it because I didn't want to go for it. It came up again at a hospital the same exact distance from me where I knew people. Again, didn't go for it because I didn't want to go for it. My heart wasn't in it, friends. My heart wasn't in it. So why am I going to stay somewhere when my heart's not in it? And I'm investing so much time and energy into something that isn't filling up my cup. It's not, I could be investing that 60 hours a week into myself, into my skills that I want to really fine tune as a dietitian. Why am I not doing the stuff that I'm passionate about? The stuff I went to school for. Now, a lot of people go to school for stuff, they never use it. Totally understand. I definitely think college is overrated for a lot of people. I think the world we live in now, we know to be successful, you don't have to go to college. You don't need a degree. It depends. Entrepreneurs are the up and coming thing. That was the other thing I thought about. Am I just getting sucked into the influencer entrepreneur lifestyle that looks glamorized, but I don't think it's a glamorized life. I've seen it. That's what I said before. I've seen Jason live and breathe it for 2 years, working for himself, in a way influencing, right? Jason's technically an influencer. He does YouTube full time in addition to other things that he makes money from. But I've seen how he grinds. I've seen how he works. I've seen how he gets. And that was a lot for me to consider. Is that the lifestyle I also want? And do I want to be doing that in addition to him doing the same thing? Or is it good that I'm over here doing this like state job while he does the influencer thing? So you guys can probably hear from the way I'm talking. These are all the things literally swirling around in my head on a daily basis. On a daily basis. Like, someone just show me the freaking way, because I don't know what the right answer is, you know? So my mom told me to go with my gut. Jason said, you know, I support you. It's on you whenever you're ready, if you're ready. If you're not ready, that's cool too. I support you. Just figure it out, you know? So yeah, this was my year that I said, you're going to figure it out this year. This is the time in your life. There's something about getting a bit older and coming into a milestone birthday that just gives you a different perception of things. And I don't know, instead of being nervous about turning 40 or something, it just, in a way, made me not be nervous. It made me say, holy shit, life passes you by. You don't have time to sit here and think you'll figure it out 10 years from now. I don't know if I'll be alive. I could croak tomorrow. I hope I don't, but you know, you never know. So you have to live in the present, and I always think bigger picture, but I think I was thinking bigger picture and not figuring it out for too long. At the same rate, I learned a lot in the jobs that I worked, in the 3 positions in the hospital. I think I've grown so much as an individual, in particular the past 2 years in my job, where I feel that I was very depended upon and had to learn boundaries for myself and better skills in terms of delegation and managing, and just better business savvy and efficiency. And I did a really good job of that in the hospital. And my personal life, the outside life, with influencing, with building my skills as an RD, with being a better dog mom or wife, like, I wasn't able to give enough to those things. I wasn't able to excel in those areas of my life, and that bothered me. It was more and more apparent to me that my priorities were my career, in a career that I didn't love. Okay? And some people, a job is just a job. I do believe that. I don't think everyone needs to jump ship and be an entrepreneur. We do need people in the workforce. And there's a little bit of guilt in me, because I still am forever a healthcare girly, and feel bad that I left a job that I know they're already so desperately understaffed. But quite honestly, at the end of the day, I was in a high pay grade that job will be filled in no time. It's not like they'll go understaffed. They'll get my job staffed. It's all the other lower level staff that are very underpaid and overworked. In civil service in New York State, there's so many things that I could sit here and bitch about that I didn't like. And so for me, I was getting to the point where there were more things I didn't like versus what I liked, to the point where the day I quit, I couldn't think of anything I loved about my job. That's where I was at, friends. She's thirsty. Yeah, so I just wanted to share a little bit more about that. I am a smart lady when it comes to bigger picture stuff. So many questions about the health insurance thing in retirement. Health insurance, I think I already addressed. I have to wait till New York State sends me my options. I will have the ability to still stay on the New York State plan because of how long I worked in state service. I worked there for 16 years and I'm under the age of 55, so it makes me eligible to still stay under the plan. In terms of retirement, the way New York State works, which is a little bit of what trapped me there in a way, is if you just make it to 55, your pension is your top 3 years highest pay. In fact, some people, when they retire from New York State, make more money after they retire because your sick leave pays off some of your health insurance cost. So that was always kind of like the goal for me. Like, yeah, that sounds like that's the right move, is work there till you're 55. You contribute to the New York State retirement system for 9 or 10 years, and then you're what's called vested in New York State retirement. So once you've worked in New York State for that long, 100% you're getting retirement. That is not changing. That's not being taken away from me. The difference is because I'm leaving at a young age, I'm not collecting retirement. I'm not retiring or asking for my money that I've contributed. When I go to collect, it won't be at the highest rate it should be. It won't be my 3 years of pay. It'll be penalized. But nonetheless, I will still have New York State retirement. And I was in what's a tier system for how retirement works here. I don't know what states y'all live in, so I'm not sure if I'm just talking another language. I do apologize. This is why I never talked about my job, barely even to Jason, because it's just a different beast, and it's confusing to people. So anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, so I will get New York State retirement regardless, and with the Tier 4 system, nothing changes there. So if a year from now, if 10 years from now, if 15 years from now, I decide, I really want to beef up that, I could go back into state employment, get a job, work till I'm 55 if I want, work till I'm 62, doesn't matter, get an extra 4 to 5 years, get an extra 10 years of state service, and that all shifts how much retirement I'm getting. Not saying that's the plan, but what I'm saying here is there's always options. There's always options. It's such a bad feeling to feel trapped, and I just kind of felt stuck for a long time and so overwhelmed with it all. And this is me as a personality, this is my personality. When I feel overwhelmed with knowing there's things I don't like or things I don't want to do, I just avoid them. I just avoid them. I'm like, well, I'll figure it out another time, and then here we are, 7 years later, still without it figured out. So I made the plunge, made the decision, and gotta tell you, just a weight lifted off my shoulders. And I've spoke to a lot of people that have gone through the same scenario. I've spent a lot of time talking to people and just getting other people's perspectives with how it went and how the shift had gone. And many people just felt like they never regretted it and they never looked back. And the biggest thing for me is being happy. And it's, for me, so far been the right move. I haven't plunged into what's next for me yet, but let me just peek at your questions quick since I just talked for like 36 minutes straight. Many of you could relate to what I was feeling or did a similar thing, made a career shift. I wasn't expecting so many people to relate to what I went through, so it was really nice to hear that video was helpful for people and made people not feel alone, because I personally felt very alone. I felt like I was the only person on planet Earth who couldn't figure out what they wanted to do and couldn't make a decision. I didn't understand why I couldn't just figure it out. Do I love my job or do I hate it? Why don't I know? Which way is it? And sometimes it was both. Mostly it was neutral because that's me as a Libra. But, you know, when I really was honest with myself, there was nothing about that job that I just loved, that I looked forward to. The most thing I looked forward to was doing a good job and being told I was doing a good job. And why not put that energy into myself? So giving so much of my time and my life to that hospital, I was never able to focus in on myself and do more for me. And it was really telling when I went to the nutrition conference this past year in October with my girlfriend Erin, who's also a registered dietitian. She does renal dietetics. And the expo was set up with all dietitians who run their own business. Instead of it being a food expo like it was 15 years ago when I went, it was mostly dietitians with programs on how to help other dietitians find their niche, find their specialty, help you get it set up. And I'm thinking, I am the OG of YouTube. Like, I could write the freaking book on how to when it comes to social media and how it got started and how we did all the things. Yet I'm sitting back watching everyone else do what I could be doing, you know? So a little bit of, I don't want to say regret, because you can't look back with regret. You just have to take the experiences of what you chose to do and learn from them and go from there. And that's what I'm doing. I'm finally believing in myself. What do you eat, Injustice? What is that? Okay. Finally believing in myself. Finally at a stage where I feel confident enough. Sorry, I'm trying to, like, you know, step over dogs as per usual. What do you got? What are you chewing? Is there something in your mouth or are you just chewing your nail? Okay, just checking. Yeah, so... okay. Finally feeling confident to do it on my own. It is really hard to make a big change. It is, and it doesn't feel real yet. I guess I'll say that much, because amidst, you know, this is my first week working from home, if you will, and I feel like I haven't had enough time to finish anything I want to do. I now see why people that are retired can't say the same thing, and I never understood that. I'm like, you're retired, you don't have any responsibilities. I'm not retired, I have a ton of responsibilities, and now I'm just able to focus in more on things I need to be doing and want to be doing. At the same time, right now, because some of you have asked, like, what's next for me? What am I doing? At this moment, I am focusing on myself. So I wouldn't say I'm not working, because I still, I have clients. I'm receiving client inquiries. I hate that word. Client requests. So I probably will be taking on a few more clients than I normally would, because I am able to dedicate the time to them now. But I also don't want to overload myself too much, because this is probably one of the only times in my life that I can take a break. I've worked since I was 14 years old. I started working at 14 years old. I worked 3 to 4 jobs at the same frickin' time through college to make my way through, to pay bills, to be able to do what I needed to do. And I've been working since the Monday after I graduated college. I worked all through my master's degree, working multiple different nursing homes. I've never stopped working. I am a worker. So it's not like I'm going to sit around and be a couch potato. I've barely sat down all week. But what I am going to do is I need to fill up my cup first. I need to recharge. I need to literally, like I'm doing, organize my house. I need to clean things out. I need to declutter. I need to just kind of recoup. I need to just a total recharge. I need a few weeks to recharge. I already have tons of ideas flowing. I can't stop it. I can't shut it off. The ideas are flowing. I want to be doing so much more on social media. Again, my plan is not to just be a full-time influencer, but I really enjoy I really enjoy being able to do more content. I want to do more on YouTube. I want to do more on Instagram. Those are the platforms I'm going to focus my energy on to not spread myself too thin. Also, just like learning how to edit things myself a bit more, because it can't all be on Jason. He has his own stuff, so that's kind of the plan as well, for me to slowly learn to take the lead on a few things myself. He helped me set up this live today. I didn't do it 100%, but just little things like that to start learning more, to take a little bit off his plate, and so I can also be an individual and be independent, not dependent. That's the problem. I need to be independent so that I can film a vlog that looks good and maybe edit it myself and get you more of that content. It's one of the things that always drove me nuts, is the comments like, well, you only post both Buff Bunny stuff and you only post ads now. Well, here's the thing. When you are in major fucking burnout, healthcare burnout, and just stripped from being a manager, from having, I can't even give examples because I just don't think it's appropriate to. I'm not going to call anyone out or anything like that, but some of the stupid shit I would deal with, that by the end of the day, I felt stupid. I would come home and I would barely even know how to just function. Does anyone relate to that? Where I literally just was like, how do I even feed the dogs dinner right now? What do I have to do next? Just soul drained, okay? So where I'm going with that story is, for me to feel creative whatsoever, like, oh, let me film my meal tonight. It's not a simple task. It's setting up lighting. It's getting the audio right. It's looking presentable. It's creating something that's worthy of producing content. I don't want to just do stuff that's shit just to do it. All right. So all those things as well made it hard for me to be like, what dietitian-y stuff do I share? Because I'm not tapping into that at the moment. So for me, Buff Bunny, I'm always going to be posting Buff Bunny because I freaking love the brand. And two, I work for the brand. I do earn money because I work for the brand. If you have an issue with that, I don't know. It's part of the world we live in here. I love Buff Bunny. So as long as I'm able to, that will be part of my content. It'll be a large part of my content. But what I would like to do more of is have more of an even balance, so you all look at me and you know I'm not only the Buff Bunny collection girl, but I am your go-to registered dietitian. That is my goal. In order to know where to go from here, I have to take a little bit of time off. I have to take some time to focus on myself, to figure out where to focus in on, to focus on how I want to scale a business and what my 5 to 10 year plan is. All right. I have some other goals with just certifications and education and things like that I want to do to really kind of beef back up. It's all in here, right? It's got to be in there still somewhere, but I have to tap into it and I have to pull it back out of me with the freaking Krebs cycle and metabolism, and everyone and their brother is a nutrition expert. That's the other thing that is a bit intimidating. Everyone knows everything about nutrition and science because you just Google that shit. You just Google it, or you YouTube it, or you watch Joe Rogan or whoever, and now you're the fucking expert, and who am I to tell you different? It's really annoying, and that is just the nature of what dietitians are up against. So we have to prove our knowledge, our expertise, our value, and why we are the expert. And so for me, for a bit of time, I have felt like, well, I can't make the leap because I don't feel like an expert right now, because it's not what I'm dedicating my intellect to, all right? And to dedicate time to learning just felt like time I didn't have, and that sounds awful, and that sounds like an excuse, right? But a lot of times I felt so drained and burnt out. In my off time, I didn't want to be learning. I'm just being fucking honest. I didn't want to be learning. I wanted to listen to my Girls Next Door podcast and zone out to some nonsense shit. And that's okay too. We sometimes need to just have some shit that helps us kind of zone out and not have to think too hard, right? We need a little bit of that in our life too, but I need to now be focusing on getting back to my education and what I feel passionate about. And I've never felt more confident that I'm really fucking good at what I do, and I'm good at being a dietitian, and I can help so many people. So my energy needs to be there. My energy needs to be there. I'm gonna make it happen. This is what I'm doing. Honestly, the money I was making at my job, it was good money. It was decent money. It wasn't the best money. It's money I can probably be making myself. Dietitians don't make a lot of money working in hospitals. Dietitians don't make a lot of money working in nursing homes. What dietitians are doing now is this. They are doing social media. They're building businesses. They are scaling businesses through online services. It's the way of the world. And COVID made that path so much easier, so much more transparent for the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics to support it. Because they had to. So now it's what all dietitians are doing. And these dietitians are making six figures. There are many of them who are running six-figure businesses. So, yeah. So why am I not doing that? Why can't I do that? I can do that, and that is what I'm going to do. That's my plan. So yeah, I have lots of ideas. I'd love to hear your ideas. I appreciate the feedback. At any point in time, feel free to DM me on Instagram. Feel free to shoot me an email on content ideas that you would like to see. And also, I have to put in the plug to not forget to support the creators who make the content you want them to make, right? So for me, I get the shit about making Buff Bunny content. My Buff Bunny content is often the most engagement I get. It's the most shared, it's the most commented, it's the most liked. And, I could post something about a day of eating and it doesn't get many comments, it doesn't get many shares, it doesn't get as much engagement. Is it because the content isn't as good? No, not necessarily. So just remember to engage in the content that you are asking these creators to make, that you want to see. Please take the time to help content creators. It makes a difference when you comment, when you share. If you watch a YouTube video of mine and you're like, that Kara Corey, I always go to her for my nutrition guidance. Do me a solid and throw that up on your Instagram stories and say, you guys should check out Kara Corey, go sub to her. It may sound basic, but I will be saying this stuff more and more because as now someone entering the field of my own brand, I will be promoting myself more and I will be asking you to help me do so. And word of mouth goes a long way. So while I'm here for you, I'd love it for you guys to be here for me too throughout this process. And I'm just really excited. I can't shut up about it. I'm really excited. So what do we got here? Y'all hear me on being too burnout to learn? I'm not afraid to say it. Yeah, I definitely want to start doing more vlogs and things like that once I have the space to. I think, right now we are in the midst of a Buff Bunny collection launch for tomorrow, and I thought it would be easier because I had this week off per se, but honestly, this launch has been really challenging. I think with just between getting the filming done, it was so much on Jason. We had to film it a little bit piecemeal this time, which makes editing so much more harder for him. And just trying to get, photos done and trying to do some content and be in my Discord, do color comparisons, do all the things. I'm not complaining whatsoever. I am so damn grateful. I love this shit. I live for this. I will do it as long as I can. Justice, you trying to smell my butt right now? You see this dog? Yeah, you got caught. You got caught on camera. We got you. Smelling my butt. Put them teeth away. He just sniffed it again. Lay down. You're cute, but lay down. Good boy. All right. Anyways, yeah. So it's been a lot this week. So I feel like I haven't had time to even think about filming other videos because I'm trying to put all my efforts towards this launch. And I will be doing dietitian talks again. I would like to be doing more of that. I've been feeling more creative over on Instagram with things and trying to beef that up a bit. I might share some of that on both platforms. A lot of cooking stuff. I'm like real excited. I'm real invested. Now being able to just be at home, you have, oh my God, no idea what it's like to be able to eat from home. Do you? Do you know? The 9-to-5 life of having to be like, what do I want to eat all day long? You have to figure it out, and you got to bring your food with you, and you got to eat out of Tupperware all day, because if not, you're buying food out every single day, and that gets expensive. That makes my stomach hurt. It's just like being able to eat at home, being able to go make a drink in my kitchen, just like take a minute and go make a drink and chop up a cucumber. I am so freaking grateful to be able to do that. It is just such a blessing. So I'm real into, like, for me, I want to do a ton of like cooking content and just quick little, and I'll probably focus that more on Instagram, but I want to do, we'll see where things do well, right? I am in a period of kind of trying some things, seeing what's working, seeing what's not. But I want to do more cooking stuff. So yeah, launches moving forward, Amanda, should hopefully be so much less stressful. I mean, even this one coming into tomorrow, definitely less stress. Just this week felt less rushed, even though I still had like a lot to do and I felt very behind. I think I felt behind because we did get our packages 2 weeks early. So that first week we had our package, everyone was busting out content and I was literally being sucked dry to the very last minute at my job. Very last minute, sucked dry. So it was kind of, I'm still a little drained from it. I have not recharged. I don't think it would be possible to recharge in 5 days anyways, but it was a really, like that last week, I only worked 3 days and it was a really tough 3 days. I am not lazy if it sounds it. I am a really hard worker, but it was, that was a lot, those last 3 days there, being able to close up shop with people trying to get as much from me as they could. Yeah, all right, it's approaching 8 o'clock. I could probably talk to you all night long, but girls got shit to do. I don't know about you guys, but I am taking bikini prep clients as well. I actually have a prep client competing tomorrow. I'm pretty excited for her. She's my first prep client of the season. I feel that I probably don't gain as many bodybuilding prep clients because I myself haven't competed in 6 years now, so makes sense. It's not my primary focus, but I love working with bikini competitors, especially my first time girlies. So absolutely bikini prep I work with. I work with anyone. I don't have just like one little specialty right now. Things could change in the future. But for now, I do mostly work with many women. I work with men too. I say women a lot, but I work with all kinds of folks, and right now it is online, and when I say online, I mean email, text, etc. But I will be expanding that now that I actually can do more webcam or, Zoom, I should say. Webcam sounds creepy and porno-ish, right? I mean like Zoom calls where we can actually talk interactively back and forth, things like that. So all stuff I'll be figuring out. But yeah, if you need help or know someone interested, send them my way. Think of me. I am going to finish cleaning up my office. I have to finish out my Takeover Tuesday clips. And what else? I have to feed these dogs, and then I would like to get this room set up tonight. We're going to transform it into the Barbie Dream House. So tomorrow at 11:30 EST, I will be here, same setup, going live, talking all things Barbie. Well, I can't say Barbie. It's not Barbie. It's Dream House. All things Dream House, Buff Bunny collection. I don't have a job, so support code Kara I just super appreciate that. I do earn a commission from that, and you'll get 10% off your purchase. I'm picking one person to win $1,000. The giveaways will not stop. I will still be giving back to you all. But yeah, I have a lot to say because it feels so good. Feels good. Feels good to be here. Jason's birthday was Tuesday, by the way. Happy birthday to Jason, my Taurus man. He's been working hard all week for this launch. He's been killing it. So, all right. Well, I'll shut up since I just talked for an hour straight and told you my every last thought I have in my mind and plans. Hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow. Also, real quick, if you are a Buff Bunny girly, I am going to be picking a giveaway winner on my Instagram this evening. 2 of you to get $50 gift cards there. Tomorrow's live, $50 gift cards going out. Bunny money every 15 minutes. Yeah, you know the drill. So if you all did enjoy this live, do me a favor, make sure you are subscribed to my channel, as well as like this video before you head on out of here. Anytime you like, anytime you comment, anytime you share my channel on your stories, or just word of mouth, goes a long way. It really does. It helps me grow what I'm doing here. It means more than ever right now. So thank you so much. If you have any questions about becoming a client or working with myself, shoot me an email, karacoreyfitlife@gmail.com. Okay? All right, guys. Have a beautiful rest of your Friday evening, and I will see you here tomorrow in the Dream House with Barbie and